going on the other spectrum, right? Is there, during the interview, would you say there are some things that are a big no-no in your opinion?
Yes, for sure. I'm trying to think back of some of the interviews that I've had that haven't gone so well. For example, I did have a candidate who basically tried to take over the interview. She felt that she should, kind of set the tone and lead things off, and asking questions is never a bad thing in an interview, but when the interviewee basically turns the tables and takes over the whole interview, that's probably a no-no. Something else that's a no-no is embellishing your experience or your skill set. Like I said, almost everything can be taught as long as you have a willingness to learn. But if you come in and you're already sort of being deceitful, if that's not too harsh of a word, by embellishing what it is that you can do and what you're offering, it will eventually come out, and it's just not a good practice. So I would definitely advise against that.
Yeah, sometimes I think, there's nobody who knows it all.
Right.
And I think that's the beauty of it, right? We need to look into the pieces that we're missing in the teams or in the company. And there's no way of seeing that if we're just seeing everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. That's obviously a good point. And is there a question you like to ask in the interview?
There is, yes. I like to find out what it is that they feel makes them a good fit for the role. So I always like to ask that question. There's another question that I hate and I like. I hate because it's just really difficult to ask. And when I've been asked it in the past, it's very hard to put it into words, but it's the one of, what is your greatest weakness? It seems like a terrible question, but you have to be able to turn it around. So I like to see if people are able to turn it around, and use it as a way to kind of sell yourself without undercutting yourself, if that makes sense. So there's a way to say, like, I have trouble, my greatest weakness is I'm a people pleaser. I have trouble saying no. I really enjoy being needed. That's something that gets me going, I guess. Like, it motivates me if I feel like I'm needed in something, but that also kind of, sometimes I can get overloaded with things. And so that's something that I've had to work on. So you wouldn't want to say, I have trouble getting out of bed in the morning. I mean, that is not the kind of weakness that you want to discuss in an interview, because that's just not a good look.
I like that. Absolutely. And as you were saying, I think that goes tied to the other thing, right? Where everybody has something that they want to work on. That doesn't mean, that disqualifies you 100%, or that it really is about how that is portrayed, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, that's a good question. And is there question that you've heard from a candidate that kind of stayed with you or you really liked?
So that's a good thing to bring up, because a lot of people don't ask very many questions, or maybe they ask a canned question that they found from Google that they should ask or something. But one question that I was asked, and I felt like it was very insightful, was, what are some things that have helped you in your career? Because I've, gone through the ranks, so to speak, a little bit. So this candidate just asked, like, what kind of tips would you give me, or what kind of advice do you have? How have you been able to be successful in your career up to this point? And I really liked that question. I thought that was good. Whether or not we hired that candidate, maybe she was able to take something and use it later on. So I thought that was a really great question.
Is there any advice you would give to a candidate or people watching this interview?
Be open. And I don't mean be so open that you spill all of your guts. What I mean when I say be open is be open to opportunities, be open to learn, say yes to things that maybe scare you. One of my favorite things to think about or say is comfort is the opposite of progress. If you are in a very comfortable position, then you're probably not growing. So just open yourself up and maybe go for the job that you didn't think you were qualified for, and be confident in yourself. For sure, be confident, do your homework, understand the business of the company that you are applying to, understand what some of their challenges and issues may be. And if possible, come with some ideas on how you can help that company get past some of their challenges or obstacles,